If you've ever saved a flawless makeup post on Instagram, it was likely hers. Sneha is one of the most sought after makeup artists in Delhi, known for her skin first seamless finish and bridal glam that actually enhances your features. From brides to beauty lovers, everyone has something to learn from her. Sneha, firstly, I'm so happy you're here today. And I'm actually excited to ask you all these questions for myself as well. Like, there's so much to learn. Okay, makeup prep is a big one, right?
Yep.
So, do we actually need like a 5 or 7 step thing to, prepare skin for makeup? I mean, I have one trick. What I usually do is I take ice cold water and I dunk my
Dunk your
face in it.
face, of
I've seen it
course.
all over Instagram. I've
And it
seen actors
works.
do it. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's immediately like this red kind of flush that
Absolutely.
comes on your face. So
Absolutely.
that's always step one. And then I'll put a moisturizer. I use this Clinique Moisture Surge
Moisture
one,
surge. Yeah.
given by my dermatologist again. And I feel like it just works so well.
Wonders. Yeah.
Is that enough?
So I my go-to steps is always have wash your face with a cleanser of your choice.
Yeah.
That works for you.
Yeah.
Use a toner to just clear your face of anything, any dust, just clear your face in general with a toner. Move on to a serum. If you have certain specific skin concerns and they address that, it's fine. Use a skin serum. And then comes my moisturizer step. I love using Cetaphil. That's my go-to.
I use
It's
a
been
face
ever
wash.
since. Yeah.
So simple and clean.
So simple and clean. Even the moisturizer is something that works for everyone. I haven't seen Cetaphil react adversely to most people.
Yeah, exactly. Works
So-
great for sensitive skin like
Absolutely.
mine.
So moisturize your skin well, and then if you need an additional boost of hydration, maybe invest in a good face oil.
Okay.
But again, that's very skin specific. Not
Yeah.
everyone needs it.
Not someone with oily skin per se.
Not everyone needs it. But then there are cases when you do need that extra boost of hydration. That really helps. So skin prep is good. Skin is good makeup. So definitely consulting a dermatologist to get the right kind of products for yourself is imperative.
Okay, if as a makeup artist you're saying the key to good
200%.
makeup is good skin, then
200%. It's a part of my consultation with my clients where I always tell them, please see your dermatologist. They're going to guide you the best way.
yeah, got it. So we were speaking about colored eyeliner as
Yeah.
a trend. So what trends actually work for Indian skin and Indian features, and
Yeah.
what doesn't work? Not just trends, but even like
In general,
products
yeah.
or general tips.
I cannot emphasize enough the importance of appreciating the warmth and the richness in us Indian skin tone,
Yeah.
Like I feel
Yeah.
like try to stick to colors. I don't say don't experiment as much. It's totally okay to like try new colors, but I
Yeah.
feel like stick to warm browns and pink browns and lots of champagne gold. They absolutely flatter our beautiful rich tones,
So we should be looking at products that have warm, like shades that have warm undertones as well.
Absolutely.
If we have a warm undertone.
Be it your blush or your lipstick, there is the warmth in that color will flatter your skin tone. It's going to accentuate the way you look.
So what are some blush or lipstick shades that work well for Indian skin tones?
So some beautiful warm tone shades that I really love are MAC, Yash, MAC, Meher. Then there are shades from Too Faced, Sellout that I really love, Social Fatigue. So that you have a bunch of shades
Yeah.
from Nykaa and from Smashbox. They're amazing shades. Okay, so I feel like just understand that opt for something that flaunts your skin color better, lifts your complexion.
Right.
Rather than opt for, do not go for shades that just pull your face down.
Or like wash you out
Wash
or
you
just
out.
blend with your
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah, I know what you mean. In fact, I mean, since we're talking about Indian skin and features, I feel like there's so many Indian brands that have come up now,
Yeah.
some really good ones, I believe, and affordable
Yeah.
ranges, like whether it's K by Katrina, and then you have your mid-range, mid-range would be MAC, let's say.
Correct.
And then you have your premium or luxury
Premium ones.
ranges, Chanel, Charlotte Tilbury, and all. So, how different are the products in the different ranges, and can you actually achieve an expensive makeup look with the affordable and mid segments?
Yes, you can, of course, achieve a very expensive look based if I can use in all MAC products and get a very beautiful look. And maybe if I create one look with all MAC and one look with all, say, Dior, or mix of Dior and Chanel, and you might really not know the difference.
You won't know the
No,
difference.
it's a lot to do with technique more than products. Of course, products play a very important role in terms of how well your makeup stays throughout, say, 12 hours, to a duration of 12 hours, or the variety of products that a brand has to offer,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But a lot of it is to do with technique more than just makeup, just a brand.
So it's actually possible that someone uses, let's say, like a Charlotte Tilbury makeup line or whatever, or basically someone's using luxury makeup products, but if the application is not good, it's not going to get the look
200%.
they are trying to achieve, and might
200%.
be using an affordable line, yet your makeup is looking flawless and it's all in the application and the technique.
200%. 200%.
Yeah. In fact, I love K by Katrina.
I love it too.
I've tried most of their lip products.
Yeah.
I mean, I use their lip products
Yeah.
more than anything else. I feel like the shades work so well.
200%. It's such a good brand, and I feel like we should all be proud. Like, an Indian brand
Yeah.
is going to it's going places. It's going to be huge in the time to come because of the quality of products. Like, their correctors are amazing.
Okay.
The peach and the orange, the
Hmm.
correctors are amazing. The lip pencils are amazing. So they have a beautiful range of product.
Yeah, they are
Good quality products.
lip pencils are the ones I've been
They're
using
very
as
good.
well.
Yes.
But what are some other good Indian brands that are killing it with the makeup game?
There's this one brand that I absolutely love, and I have been, it's been a part of my kit for my brides as well as for me, is Indulgio.
Indulge you?
Yes, they have this wonderful face oil that I
Oh
feel.
my God, you have told me about
I told you
this.
about
I
it,
have,
right?
I have this. I
Yes.
do use this. Yes. Okay, but
Exactly.
you tell
So,
everyone.
yeah, absolutely. I've been using this for a while on my clients, and just changes your makeup game for someone with extreme dryness on the face.
Yeah.
So again, for me, I put a lot of emphasis on my skin prep. That I feel is the basis of my makeup, and that is what I put a lot of weight to. So I would definitely recommend another Indian brand would be Indulgio. They have some great skin products.
Yeah, so I think you told me about this oil
While I
that
was
they
doing
have.
your makeup.
Yes.
Yes.
And for me, I think we were focusing on applying it on my under eyes to
Yeah.
hydrate the eye area because I don't really have dry skin.
Yes.
But yeah, like the areas that did need that extra hydration boost.
Hydration. Correct.
Yeah, exactly. So is this something that can be applied all over the face?
Again, it's face to face, skin to skin. But I have used it on people who've had extreme dryness overall around the entire face, and otherwise maybe around the under eye or around the nose or in certain patches.
Yeah.
So again, it's very specific to a person's face and skin.
Yeah, no, that's a really good one.
Yeah.
But I mean, other than Indian brands, I feel like there's this huge market for Korean beauty
Oh,
now.
yes.
Korean makeup and skincare is everywhere.
Everywhere.
So, I mean, it looks amazing, but how does it actually work for Indian skin? Does it work, or what doesn't work specifically?
See, Korean beauty products have just gained massive popularity of late, right? Like, all
Massively.
thanks to K-pop drama and K-pop music, right?
Yeah.
But Korean drama and K-pop music. But what I feel is the ingredients that they talk about which are natural, effective, are mostly like, look at it, it's rice water
Yeah.
or snail mucin or some bamboo extract. Something, if we sort of compare it to our Indian traditional remedies, it would be tulsi, turmeric. They're catering to something that's natural and effective. And I feel like Indians in general, we're all very fascinated with glass skin. And
Exactly.
that's what the Korean beauty is all about, right?
It's all about
So
glass
it's
skin.
great. I think it's amazing. But when it comes to deeper, darker skin tones, warmer skin tones, some of the products like the cushions or the BB creams could be a little too pale for us.
Right.
So I think the users must choose wisely. That's
when
all
it
I can
comes to
say.
the makeup shades with Korean
Yeah,
brands.
exactly. You choose wisely based on, because the trend might not be apt for deeper, darker skin tones, warmer skin tones. So I feel like you just need to not just go with the trend because it's there in the market. Just see what works for you. Yeah.
Okay. I think the biggest shift we've been seeing in the makeup industry these days is full glam looks to minimalism.
Yeah.
So firstly, what about people who still like full glam? And secondly, what exactly is this minimal? Is this a trend, the minimal look? Where is it headed? What do people prefer?
So, I feel like Gen Z and millennials, they're like all about, they're really focusing on skincare now. Post pandemic, I feel there's a shift in attitude. Like skincare and beauty routines have become an essential part of our life. Nutrition, I feel like in general, health has taken over.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say full matte looks or full blown makeups aren't an in thing. It's a personal choice. But yes, there is a very prominent shift to skin tints, something that's dewy, fresh, natural.
Yeah.
And I feel this is where the Gen Z and millennials are heading to. And I think we owe it to Instagram and TikToks. If you see a lot of these Korean beauty trends or minimal clean girl aesthetics,
Yeah.
they're all picking up. I think it's a beautiful addition to our everyday wear. Simple, clean. People are more comfortable with their own imperfections, and yet they want to enhance their features, right? Enhance their beauty.
Yeah.
So skin tints, minimalism is an absolute like thumbs up for me. I absolutely love it. But then that doesn't mean that you wouldn't want to go for a full contoured, full blown makeup. That's of course that's always been there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
In fact, that's quite interesting. So you feel like ever since people started taking their health more seriously,
Yeah.
it's affected their skin
The
health.
choices, yes.
And as a result, they want more minimal kind
Yeah.
of looks and all because their skin is doing more of the
Doing
talking.
exactly like more flushed, natural. There's something called your skin just better.
Exactly.
That's the look I feel like even I want to go for every day. I don't want
Yeah.
myself to be layered in layers of makeup. I just want like something that looks supernatural, and good skin is good makeup. This is the fundamental for anyone who's interested in makeup should know that they need to take care of their skin.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, I've actually heard of this term. It's called skinimalism.
Exactly. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I know. So, and especially now, the summer's upon us, it's really hot.
Yeah.
And I feel like the moment you step out, you feel like your makeup is melting along with you.
Yeah.
So, how do people kind of keep their makeup sweat proof and melt proof
Yeah.
when they want to go for heavier looks, or also just with like a basic minimal look?
For summers, I feel like something that's going to be your best friend is using a waterproof setting spray. So if I have to throw a few names, I love the Urban Decay setting spray, all night long setting spray.
Okay.
So, using the Charlotte Tilbury airbrush.
Oh, I use that
yes,
one.
it's a wonderful product. I use it for my brides as well. Yeah,
Huh.
so using waterproof setting spray is, of course, step number one. And then, of course, if you're an oily skin person or you're prone to your skin gets a little sweaty, greasy, ensure that you have a translucent powder. Use that to set on areas where you tend to get greasy. So to reduce the sheen. In general, our skin is releasing oils, right? Because of excessive sebum is when your skin gets oily. So having a translucent powder, set it on areas that get a little greasy. That'll make sure your makeup lasts longer. The longevity increases.
So I've actually tried using this translucent powder before, but I feel like when it's white and translucent, it just ends up looking gray.
Yeah.
So how do I fix that? Like, should I be getting a tinted kind of powder?
So makeup tends to get ashy.
Yeah,
gray
exactly.
When the choice of foundation or your choice of concealer is wrong, not essentially your translucent powder. Translucent powders do not have color in them. It's a no color powder.
Okay.
The basic job of a translucent powder is just to primarily set your makeup, make sure it's matte, and it your makeup doesn't get too greasy. So
With your
what I like
makeup.
to do during summers is, say if I finished my foundation, I like to just spray my face with a nice dose of my setting spray, and then maybe add a little powder, add a little cream, liquid blush and contour, finish my makeup and then spray again.
So, okay, so what I do is I spray my face in the beginning before I put my makeup.
Yeah.
And then I might put like my base, spray it again, finish the makeup, spray it again.
Yes.
So
So you start with like a mist, right? You wouldn't start with
Yeah.
a setting spray. You'd start with like a face mist, a rose water mist, or say the MAC Fix Plus, something that's a prep and prime.
A classic, no?
Exactly. So then finish your concealer, finish your foundation. Your face
Yeah.
is still not matte yet. So just spray, add a dose of your setting spray, finish your face, complete your blush and highlighter and contour, and then spray again. So I feel like this trick really works during summers.
So the top 3 makeup tips for the summer would be?
Top 3 makeup tips for the summer would be first, do not skip on your moisturizing step. We think like it's summers and we don't want to. Of course, you have to moisturize your step, prime and moisturize your step. That is what will set the base for your makeup. The second probably tip would be to keep your setting spray handy. You cannot like leave your house without a setting spray, especially if you want your makeup to last long.
So you just carry it with you and
You
spray
get
it at
those
any
tiny,
point.
yeah, the travel ones, right? So
Yeah.
I like to carry my mist or a setting spray with me and just refresh my face. And the third would be to not skip your translucent setting powder step. You don't want crease lines and your makeup to like wither away, right?
Yeah.
It's hot, it's humid. So set your makeup with a nice translucent powder. I love Chanel. I love Laura Mercier. I love Huda. There are like a bunch of great brands in the market that you can use. There are no color setting powders. So they don't cake up your makeup as well because there is no pigment in it. It's translucent.
Right.
So it does the job well for summers.
Right. And also, what about dewy skin? I
Yeah.
think a lot of us want dewy skin, but there's that really fine line between dewy and oily. Shiny, exactly. Like that's the last thing I would want. So
Yeah.
how do you make sure your makeup looks dewy and not kind of make you look like
Look
your
too-
face is greasy?
Yeah. Dewy is essentially subtle, hydrated, strategically luminous. I'd call
Exactly.
it strategically luminous. It's not luminous all over the face. And
Yeah,
shiny
it's
here
still-
would be like full face shining, including your T-zone,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because that's just sebum, like extra
Right.
oil coming out of your face, right?
Right.
So what I for dewy skin, what I prefer is you need to if you have an oily skin type, ensure that you're using a mattifying primer, right? Something that will control the oil from certain areas of your face.
Okay.
And to get the right kind of dewiness on your skin, to highlight your skin the right way, you have to highlight your skin the right way, which is high points of the face. And when I say high points, it's the center of the forehead, the cheekbones, the bridge of the nose, Cupid's bow, and chin. This is what we call high points. Is
Where the light kind of
light
naturally falls on your
absolutely,
face.
you know the term.
Yeah.
This is where the light falls on the face.
Yeah.
So if you highlight correctly, you will see that you don't really end up getting a full shiny face.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, again, the very important tip of using a translucent powder. See, I'm on oily skin type with a very shiny T-zone. I'm going to use a translucent powder on the very shiny parts of my face. It'll just control the oil.
Got it.
So you'll see it is strategically luminous. It's not shining all over, almost like I'm sweating.
So
That is not what we want.
is that like a common mistake people
It
make
do-
with
yeah,
highlighter?
absolutely. I feel like people love highlighting the face, right? They want to be a disco ball at times, but then again, it needs to look aesthetically pretty. That's what makeup is, It's not about just having everything on your face. Having it in the right way, in the right direction, something that just enhances your face.
So it's
Whole point of
essentially like strategic placement of highlighter.
Absolutely, yeah.
And in terms of the kind of formula you're using for your highlighter, if you want that glow versus like a shiny look, then what's better? Like a powder highlighter, cream,
Yeah.
liquid? Like what's the correct formula?
If you're a dry to medium skin type, cream and liquid are really blendable. So even on a bare skin, right? So I would really opt for creams and liquid formulas in terms of blushes and highlighters. But say I'm a very oily skin type, I wouldn't really, my first obvious choice would not be a cream highlighter or a cream blush as per se. I would prefer a little more powder elements because they have mattifying properties. So your choice of cream and liquid would also depend on your skin type, A, and the weather you're in.
Oh,
So you're by the beach, you're not going to like load your face with things that are in general going to make you super greasy.
okay. So if I'm going for resorty tropical
Yeah.
holiday, then I
Yeah.
should be carrying more powder kind of formulas.
No, you may carry cream. Of course, like I feel it's easily blendable, but just know how to set them with a nice powder maybe on certain areas so you don't grease up.
Right.
And anyway, I feel like if you're on a holiday in the sun, you wouldn't load your face with too much makeup. You'd still like strategically use elements that will just enhance your face, right?
Yeah.
A little concealer, like a liquid blush, top it up with a little powder and nice mascara, eyes, and you're done.
Got it.
Cheek lip tint. So yeah.
Oh my God, I'm happy you mentioned cheek and lip
Yeah,
tint because
this is my favorite product, cheek lip tint.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's wonderful, no? you get a beautiful lip and a cheek with just one product.
So this is exactly what skinimalism or just doing a
Right.
minimal makeup look is about.
Right.
And I've been hearing about like 5 product faces
Yeah.
where you're basically essentially using really few products to achieve your full makeup look. So how do these multi-use products actually work? Like where you can, which ones work?
Yeah.
Do they work?
Multi-use products, I absolutely feel they work. They're for women like us who don't often have the time in hand to just give ourselves half an hour of makeup every day, right? We're on the
Exactly.
go, we're traveling. So
Yeah.
having 5 easy to use products in your bag, and then you're good to go. So this just gives you that everyday natural basic makeup. So I would say keep like eyebrow stick, having a nice bushy brow, based on your personal choice. You like it
Yeah.
natural, you like them lined. An eyebrow product, a nice mascara to just lift up the eyes, makes you feel a lot more awake. Having a multi-purpose stick, like I would say, like a brown pencil from K by Katrina. They
Yeah.
have these beautiful, wonderful blendable pencil sticks that I
Yeah.
like to not just top up as an eyeliner, like a smudged eyeliner, but I used to use them. I love to use them as a contour stick.
Okay.
So like a multi-purpose stick would be my third product. Cheek lip tint,
Hmm.
Benefit or a
And
rare
Benetint, right? This
Benetint.
is something I've been like
Fantastic.
hearing from college days. I think
Seriously.
people have been using
It's
this.
a bestseller and for a reason.
Still is.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe a self-setting concealer, like the Tarte Shape Tape. So concealer to just maybe clear out and look a lot more polished. I feel having a little concealer on the face.
Yeah.
So literally 5 on-the-go products that can just give you a clean, more polished face. They're not going to give you like this full evening glam going on, but then
Yeah.
a nice, clean, polished face for a
Yeah.
meeting, for a outing. So I would definitely keep 5 of these useful products in my bag when I'm traveling, and just ensure that they're blendable. You don't have to carry 10,000 brushes. You're good to go with a little blend. You use your fingers to blend things out. So I feel like that's the whole point of having multi-purpose 5 products to create a look.
Yeah, in fact, what I do is I have a powder blush and I try to use it in 3 places of my
Yeah.
face. Tell me if I'm wrong, please. But like I'll put it on my cheeks, even like on my eyelids.
Eyes, yeah.
Yeah, and if it's a creamy formula, maybe on the lips.
Yeah, why not? I have a very dry skin type, so you will always see a Benetint in my purse.
Benetint. Okay, I think
Absolutely, my little cheek, and you feel fresh with a little touch of that product on yourself, on your
yeah,
face.
yeah, I know which product I'm buying after this podcast. The first one is going to be
Yeah,
the Benetint
the Rare
one.
Beauty blushes and the Benetint, they're like my go-to.
Yeah, exactly. But also like regarding eye makeup, I feel like there's so many people, beginners with makeup, who
Yeah.
want to understand the easiest foolproof eye makeup they can do.
Yeah,
So what is a go-to easy eye makeup anyone can do?
the easiest, simplest eye makeup is you take a brown pencil
Yeah.
and line your upper line, smudge it nicely with your a tiny little brush with
Okay.
a little brown eyeshadow. So you've literally defined your eye.
Yeah.
Take a nice black kajal and tight line your upper lash line.
Tight lining basically
Tight line is
means
basically when you cover the white section of your upper waterline. This,
okay.
okay.
Yeah.
Just like you do it when you're wearing a kajal, you repeat the same step on the upper part of your eye.
Okay.
And that gives your lashes a dense base. Now overdose your lashes with lots of mascara and you'll see your eyes, they look so defined with just 2 steps. So
That's
this
it.
is literally my everyday go-to.
That sounds so easy.
That's super easy and you'll see it changes the way your eye looks.
Yeah, exactly. And going deeper into eye makeup,
Yeah.
actually, I feel like eye makeup looks for the day and the night are
Yeah.
very different.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't know what to change at night, what to
Yeah.
do during the day.
Yeah.
So how should one change the eye makeup in the day and at night?
So say I start with the basic eye makeup that I just said, which is like a simple brown pencil smudged on my
That's our
eye, and I want
starting
to
point.
change it into evening outing look, okay, evening party or whatever. So evening lights are different. I want to add a little more drama to my eyes, right?
Yeah.
And I don't really have too much time, but I still want to add that extra drama to my eye. I'd probably take a warm brown color onto the crease. Now, crease is the hollow part of your eye is the crease, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably smudge a little color around this eye, add a darker element around this eye. The whole point is to add depth. Depth means intensity, gradient, add gradient to your eye. So something darker on the outer corner will give your eye a little lift. and maybe a little shimmer on the center of the eye, and I'm good to go.
Wow.
Well, it sounds simple.
It sounds
Yes.
very simple. I'm going to find out when I'm actually sitting and trying it on my own.
Yeah, so it's just about identifying colors that work for you.
Yeah.
We're all warm tone people. Choose colors that flaunt our rich skin tones, right? Which
Yeah.
is soft browns, soft golds, champagnes. So these
Yeah.
colors automatically just flatter our skin tone.
Yeah, in fact, I've shifted from blacks to browns when it comes
Yeah.
to eyeshadows, eyeliners, even mascara. I feel like a brown mascara kind of really,
It's
it works really
wonderful.
well
It
for me.
works really well. Yes, absolutely. I totally agree. Browns are our color. It's just, completely flatters our skin tone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But, starting with the basics, speaking of a base, so how important is our base in terms of a foundation, skin tint, whatever one uses?
Yeah.
How important is that in achieving your overall makeup look?
So even before that, the one important thing that I'd like to say that actually changes your base, your foundation, is how you prepare your skin. So if you feel like skipping the skin prep step will help you in terms of time, it's going to completely spoil your makeup thereafter.
Yeah.
So preparing your skin well, which includes moisturizing, priming, and then followed, you're literally creating a beautiful even canvas for your makeup. So if
Okay.
your canvas isn't even, you wouldn't really expect your foundation to be even and to not get cakey,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it is extremely important that we use the right skincare products and prep and prime our face, followed by a foundation, which again is a choice you make in terms of going sheer in your coverage, medium or very, or like a full coverage.
Yeah.
Right? So a choice of foundation again, it's very important that anyone who's interested in makeup should understand undertones. And undertone is that inherent color that you see, whether you're a warm tone person, you're a cool tone person, or a neutral tone person. We Indians are mostly blessed with a very beautiful, rich, warm tone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So our choice of foundation should completely be in line with our undertone. And whenever, say, you're going to Sephora and you want to pick a foundation for yourself, you select 2-3 shades and then you swatch them around your jawline.
The jawline.
Yes, from the jawline going downwards, and you'll see that something that seamlessly blends into your skin. I have 4 shades that are swatched here. Anything that seamlessly blends into your skin is your right shade.
So you should actually, when you're picking your foundation, finding the right match is finding a shade that is exactly like your skin tone.
Just seamlessly blends into your skin.
Hmm.
That actually is your right shade. Shouldn't feel too yellow, shouldn't feel too ashy. So choosing a foundation as per your undertone is very important.
But I feel like matching your foundation, the right foundation
Yeah.
for yourself is
Yeah.
quite tricky
Yeah.
because firstly, undertones, like you're saying, that plays a big role. Now we've understood most of us are warm undertones.
Yeah.
But secondly, also store lights.
Yeah.
Like if you're in any makeup showroom, I feel like the store lights make a very big difference.
Right.
And now the third thing I've been seeing is actually virtual makeup try-ons that are
Yeah.
happening on websites, which I've tried, but I'll tell you my personal experience after you give me your take on this.
So I feel like brands have come up with AI powered
Yeah.
shade matching techniques, right?
Yeah.
So be it like a L'Oreal virtual try on or a Maybelline shade finder, foundation finder.
Right.
And there's the Sephora Color IQ. So they analyze your face based on a video or a photo and give you a range of shades that could potentially match your skin tone.
Yeah.
Now, of course, the biggest pro here is that you could shop in the comfort of your house just with a picture, right?
Yeah, I love that.
But who doesn't love that? But the biggest con here is that the quality of your camera and the light can really influence the results, right? So even though you're shopping online, you might not be able to, they might not be able to assess your skin texture and your undertone well.
Yeah.
So what I feel like, even if you want to use the AI powered apps, ensure that you get a list of colors that match, that are probably a best option for you, and then go swatch those when you're at the store.
Oh, so you're actually like using it online first,
Just to
their
shortlist.
virtual apps to kind
Yes.
of shortlist, and that saves
And
you
then
time.
go try. Exactly. That saves you so much time and effort. And then just try them on. How I like to buy my foundation is I like to swatch 2-3 shades, walk around, finish my work in the mall, and come back and choose a shade that seems like the closest match.
So that solves the issue of
Yes.
store lighting when you're picking the right foundation for
Exactly.
yourself.
Check them in the natural sunlight. That is where you'll assess the right color.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense
Yeah,
actually.
exactly.
You've been speaking about setting your base essentially
Yeah.
with powders and all.
Yeah.
So I remember when I called you up and I
Yeah.
said my under eye concealer is constantly creasing,
Yeah.
and you gave me, you told me about the Huda Beauty
Banana bread.
banana bread.
Right.
I swear by it. I literally use it
It's a game changer.
every day of my life.
Yeah.
I just applied under my eyes like a thin layer with a powder
Yeah.
puff, and I feel like this one thing has changed my makeup
Completely
game.
airbrushes your, yeah.
Yeah.
Genetically, I feel like we have a lot of lines under our eye. Not everyone, but then we tend to have. It's just hard Indian genetics. I feel like we see a lot of fine lines under the eye.
Yeah.
And not using a powder is not. A lot of people, they question me that can we just use a concealer and let it be?
I was scared of using powders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you cannot really leave a face where you have fine lines and a lot of powder, a lot of cream going into that without setting it with a translucent powder in most cases.
Yeah.
Now, why I like using the banana bread, which is a yellow powder, is yellow has a brightening property. Right. So anytime, and for myself as well, not just for you, I cannot really do my makeup without a little banana bread under my eye. It just brightens my under eye.
Yeah.
So anyone with a little dark circles, a little pigmentation, the banana bread works wonders. You don't really have to use it all over your face. Just slightly bake under the eye, finish the rest of your makeup and dust it off. And you'll see it works like magic.
Yeah, I think this is really making me understand the importance of knowing your skin type, your
Yeah.
undertone, and
Absolutely.
the climate you're in to kind of identify what kind of
Ma-
makeup you should be doing.
Yeah, it does. A lot of factors do influence
Yeah.
your choice of makeup.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And moving from the base to blush, I believe that blush placement can change how your face looks.
True.
And you should be doing it according to your face
Face
shape.
shape.
So,
Absolutely.
what's your take on this?
Absolutely, I totally agree. It's a very important choice you make. And
Sure.
blush, contour, and highlighter, the whole point of this is to add dimension to your face,
Yeah.
right? To create, our faces are beautiful with the shapes, with the different dimensions. We are not supposed to look flat. So we
Which
need to-
happens if you don't apply.
Exactly, which
Yeah.
happens if you don't have contour, blush, and highlight on your face. You're basically leaving your face as one even tone
Yeah.
with the foundation.
Yeah.
So, say, a beautiful round face, and you want the whole point of makeup is to just enhance your natural tone and features, accentuate them, right?
Exactly.
So I would place the blush around, say, the temples, and then blend them upwards, more like contouring the face, rather than placing the blush right on the apples and making it look a lot more, adding more volume to the face.
Okay.
So the whole point is to bring a little more structure and direction to the face than just make it look bigger and wider. So I
Okay.
don't want to make it look more round. I want to structure it. So I'll make the blush more like I'll contour the face using the blush as well.
So that's for round face shapes.
Yeah.
What face shape would you say I have?
You are more towards an oval, which is said to be the perfect face shape. So basically, it's you are a beautiful oval shape. So see again, for an oval, I would love to contour the face again. Just maybe a tad bit around starting from the outer corner of the ear towards the lip, and lift.
So it's like this diagonal
Yes,
line.
and just lift it up. So it just brings more direct dimension to the face, right? I love contouring. And say again, another example would be a rectangle, like a beautiful Kareena Kapoor face.
Yeah.
So for them, I like to place the blush slightly below the cheekbone and then blend it onto in nice circular motions. The whole point is you want to cut the face and bring a little more softness to the face.
Right.
So understanding how to place your contour and blush, not
Yeah.
just blush,
Yeah.
will really make your face a little more structured, give it a little more dimension. So it's a very important part of makeup that as a makeup enthusiast you should understand.
Yeah, I feel like knowing yourself is so important when it
Yeah,
comes to this. Like I
absolutely.
feel like one should really study themselves, their face shape, to kind of enhance their look to their best capability, right?
Yeah, you can take your makeup game to the next level. Be like a pro in itself. Like
I know.
understanding your face is so important.
Definitely, I agree with that. It's quite interesting because I know some people who actually don't like applying a base
Yeah.
in terms of concealer, foundation,
Yeah,
skin
yeah.
tints, but they still want blush and they
Yeah.
still want that they still want to do their eye makeup, look fresh with their blush or whatever.
Yes.
So is it possible to apply blush, bronzer, etc., and do eye makeup without a base?
Absolutely. I do it all the time.
Please
Where,
do
you
tell.
know, yeah, especially for summers,
Yeah.
I feel like use blendable products. So like just have your skin prep done really well
Okay.
and use a cream, cream or a liquid, very blendable blush onto the apples of your cheek and blend it well. Take it onto your nose. I feel that's the
I
new
love
trend. I
that.
love
I
that
love that. I
too.
always put blush
I
on my
see that,
nose.
yeah, I love it
Yeah.
too. And a nice, you know, the illuminator or a highlighter on top looks beautiful again. You can of course skip a full-fledged foundation and concealer when it comes to not doing your face for summers. And what I like to do is maybe a tad bit of concealer under my eyes to just make my face look a little more groomed and polished. But then that's a personal choice.
Yeah.
Eyes, again, as I said, your everyday tip of using like a little brown pencil, smudging it out.
Yeah.
Or if you're feeling very experimental and fun, a nice colored liner
I've never
with a
tried
little
that.
wing. Yeah, I try it on my clients all the time. I never do it on myself.
Yeah.
But I think that's great. You know, it gives a pop of color onto the eyes.
So people with brown eyes, what kind of colored eyeliner could they try out?
You know, honestly, I absolutely love like a beautiful lilac, beautiful pink, a green, warm green, I feel there's so many colors you could try.
Really?
Absolutely. Look lovely during summers.
Yeah, I feel like I do want to experiment with my eyes a bit.
Yeah.
Okay, Sneha, let's speak about
Yeah.
your brides.
Yes.
So I want to start by asking you, what is the difference between makeup for day brides and night brides? What should they be considering?
The time of day or night plays a very important role in deciding a bridal
Right.
glam, right? It's
Yeah.
the lighting and the style of your outfit, the ambience, everything plays an important role.
Yeah.
So for a day bride, it's a lot more subtle, you know, just enhancing the natural tones, something that looks great in the natural sunlight.
Yeah.
When it comes to an evening bride, it's a choice again, but then you could go a little more bold, more glamorous, more defined, because you're under artificial lights like LEDs and chandeliers and like stage lights. So the makeup could be a little more dramatic, but again, it's a choice.
So, night brides actually tend to have heavier makeup looks because of the harsh lighting
A
that they're
little more
under.
defined, yes, I agree.
Right. And what about their outfit colors? I feel like that plays a huge role,
Yeah,
right, in determining
it
the
does.
makeup as well.
It does. It's a combination. Again, deciding makeup is completely, as I said, not just the lights, it's what you're wearing, your styling, the colors you opt for. So everything, and again, it's the biggest day of a girl's life in terms of like dressing up, and they have a vision. So we try to follow their vision,
Right.
right? So if they want something that's a little more dramatic, we do dramatic. If it's lighter, softer, we do lighter, softer.
Is there any particular trend you're seeing right now?
In terms of brides, I feel
Yeah.
like the Indian market in general is very influenced by Bollywood.
Yes.
So you
Yes.
see, like, you know, post 2017, I think 2017, when Anushka Sharma got married, and then
In her
there
light
was
pink
this
lehenga.
the entire trend was around flushed, like very natural, subtle, minimal, soft lips, very flushed cheeks.
Yeah.
And then suddenly it moved to, again, it was reinforced with Alia Bhatt's open hair bridal look.
And
So
her
I feel like
ivory
ivory lehenga,
sari.
sari,
Yeah.
yes. So I feel like minimalism is the way forward. Like girls that come to us are very comfortable in their own skin.
That's so good to hear.
That's so good, yeah, actually. And I feel like it's amazing. Embracing your imperfections and just enhancing your natural features.
And do they generally show you Bollywood makeup references?
Sometimes, yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Okay.
I think
And
Alia Bhatt's look was a big reference for girls around that time who were getting married.
yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, exactly. But in terms of clients' expectations, have you ever come across a client who is concerned about the chemicals in their makeup? Because
yeah.
I feel like there's this, like you said, all of us are becoming a lot more health conscious now.
yeah.
So I feel like people are becoming more and more aware of harmful chemicals and ingredients in their makeup. So, firstly, how aware are people of this? And secondly, what should we be looking for in makeup product labels? What should we be looking out for?
Yeah. See, there is awareness. Especially, I see with the awareness coming from clients who are who have consulted a dermatologist and are working on their skin health, or who are addressing or battling skin issue,
Yeah.
they definitely come up with this question on, is this particular product paraben free or sulfate free? And there are questions around that, and I feel it's a very important question to ask.
Yeah.
I feel like as a user, you must look at the labels and look at the ingredients and choose for yourself what suits your preferences and your potential. There are potential health issues that can happen with toxic ingredients in makeup, and so I feel there are a lot of brands that are addressing this, reformulating products or giving alternatives. So it is a topic that I feel like is being discussed. It's not like something that people are avoiding. So yeah, but then there are options, and I think as a user, I would just say be very aware of what your read the labels, see those ingredients, work as per your preference, and then find your way forward in terms of brands.
This reminds me, in terms of ingredients, I wanted to ask you, there's a difference between oil-based and water-based makeup products. How do you know what the right fit is for you?
So you can look at the label and you'll see the exact formulation exact formula in terms of whether it's an oil-based product or a water-based product.
Yeah.
So when it comes to identifying what works for you, always remember, say you're preparing your skin, and you just imagine there's water and you add a few drops of oil. Will they merge seamlessly? No, the water is just going to float on top. The oil is just going to float on top, right? So the whole point is they will not blend together, and the same concept applies to your makeups. So if you have like a oil-based skincare and you're trying to use a water-based foundation on top, do you think they will effortlessly blend? They
Doesn't
won't.
seem like it, no.
Yes. So you have to use logic to this as well and choose ingredients. Go for silicone-based instead, and choose products that you feel like logically will blend. So oil-based, water-based, it depends again on your skin type, a lot of factors. But the most important thing is do not mix them. Like don't mix an oil-based skin prep to a water-based foundation.
Okay, so that has to match as well.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, but tell me something. So, okay, we know skin prep is important, and the better your skin is looking, the better your makeup's gonna look. But after a certain age, like as you enter your 30s, 40s, 50s, should your makeup game be changing, and how so?
100%. We all tweak our skincare, right? When we're in our 20s versus when we're in our 40s and we're introduced to retinols and things that work for us.
Yeah.
Similarly, your makeup game has to change as per your skin. Our skin loses elasticity. There could be inherent dryness because of age or whatever hormonal changes. Somebody's had a baby, the skin changes, right? So your makeup has to change as per your current skin. Take care of your skin, of course, but then just tweaking your makeup based on your face and your skin will always make it look better. Like you will look and feel more like yourself, just better.
So as you change your skincare, you change your makeup
You
simultaneously.
learn what works for your face.
Hmm.
Don't just blindly follow trends, is all I can say.
But like, what is one makeup product that anyone can have regardless of the age?
A versatile lipstick. Like, a good lipstick.
That's a good one. That's actually the best
good lipstick
one.
for every age. Just brightens your day, right?
Yeah.
You're feeling dull, just put a good lipstick on and you'll feel a lot better.
Yeah, that's actually one universal product, I feel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I know. Give me your most unexpected beauty tip.
Unexpected, okay. So this is something that I do on myself quite a lot.
Okay.
Is, when I'm completely ready with my makeup and I'm about to step out, I just take a little bit of my cream blush or a Charlotte liquid blush and I tap it onto my cheekbones and apples and I like blend it with my finger. It just gives me that natural flush, Benetint.
Wow.
So I think it looks great.
I'm going to try that next
try
time.
that out.
I'm going to try that tomorrow and I'll send you a photo.
Definitely.
Okay. To conclude, I want to ask you, if you had to start your own makeup range, what would set it apart from others?
I would really, if I'd really want a range of very multifunctional products, like, hybrid formulas in terms of cheek and lips tints, cheek lip tints and SPF infused primers, or, something that saves time and space for us modern working women.
Yeah, exactly.
And I would definitely want something that's more like to foster community-led innovation in terms of having consumers and makeup artists involved in the product development stage, from naming to testing products. So the user grows with me. as a
That's so
brand.
interesting.
Yeah, so definitely that would be a very important part of my research R&D.
Yeah, I feel like I haven't heard that one before. And at the end of the day, makeup artists know best, right? Like they
Absolutely.
probably have so many insights into what the perfect makeup product should look and feel like.
Yeah. I feel like we test and try products on a daily basis. So
Yeah.
they're the right audience to tap
Yeah.
into.
So, as a makeup artist, what are the top 3 things you'd want all your clients to know?
Top 3. I'd like to tell my clients to just have fun with makeup. Makeup should bring joy into their lives, and getting ready should be fun and not stressful.
That's
so
the whole point.
Enjoy the process. Yeah, I love makeup. It's supposed to just enhance, not change you. And maybe,
Important.
yeah, exactly. And always remember, classics always work. And you don't really have to always follow trends. Trends will come and go. Classics will always stay with you. So if you're in doubt, just go with the classics of everything.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try to embody that myself as
Me
much
too,
as I can.
absolutely. Me too.
Yeah, and I always end up feeling more confident when I'm wearing something, clothes, makeup, or whatever it is that I really know works for me.
Yes.
Like that's what makes me feel the most confident in my skin.
Yeah.
But
You know what they say, right? You're wearing the clothes, not the clothes aren't wearing you.
it's the same with
So-
makeup.
Exactly. So
Exact
your
same.
confidence will always show if it comes from within. And makeup should just be there to elevate it.
Exactly. I mean, on that note, thank you so much for being here today. I feel like there's so much I have learned today. I feel like to summarize it, one of my most important takeaways with you is to know yourself.
Yeah.
Your face shape, your undertones, just own your beauty.
Absolutely.
And make the right makeup choices according to that.
Absolutely.
Secondly, also, of course, I think we've spoken a lot about skin prep and
Yes.
setting your makeup,
Yes.
the technique of putting it. You don't have to go and buy the most premium makeup brands and spend a lot of money on it. You can achieve a really beautiful, flawless look just by, your application and knowing your skin tone and
Correct.
everything. And yeah, I think that's going to give a lot of people a lot of confidence in
No, I'm
kind of
glad.
doing their own makeup.
Yes, I'm glad, and thank you for calling me. For I think you're doing a great job. You're amazing, and I'm so
Oh,
excited
thank
to be a
you.
part of this.
I know. I mean, I'm looking forward to doing a lot
A
more
lot more,
with
of
you. A lot.
course.
I feel like
100%. This is just the beginning.
yeah, and there's so much to talk about. We've gotten into
100%.
a lot of details about makeup
Yeah.
products and application, but I feel it can be a never-ending conversation.
100%. It's a never-ending talk.
Yeah.
We could go on for the next few hours, and I feel like we'll still have more to chat about.
Exactly. But I know in the meantime, I'm going to go get my benefit
Yes,
tint.
tint. Correct.